So, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, I asked you guys to throw out any questions that you have for me and that I would record a fact video. Yeah, it's been a while. By the time this comes out, who knows how much longer it will be. But today, I want to go ahead and film that. Only thing is, I haven't washed my hair in over a week and I'm starting to feel it, but I only have enough water for 1 solar shower a day. So before I film, I'm going to go ahead, get my workout in, go for a run, take a shower, and then we'll dig in. I haven't actually looked at any of the questions. I wanted to do it in real time so that it would be like an authentic response and I wouldn't have time to marinate on what I want to say. I'm just gonna go down the line and not really compile like the most asked questions. I'm just gonna randomly answer them. All right, first one. Where are you from? Are you still in Washington? I was born in Arkansas. I grew up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And then I went to college in Hawaii. And from there, I moved all over the place. Milan, Italy, Naples, Italy, and London in the UK, all for work with Abercrombie. Bahrain and Egypt, because I was dating someone in the military. Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Monterey, California, Fort Wright, Kentucky, Issaquah, Washington, Carlsbad, California, Cincinnati, Ohio, Denver, Colorado. So basically when people ask me, where are you from? I almost just want to ask them, where are you from? Because there's a chance I maybe used to live there.
Why is it so dirty? Working out because I'm just like in the dirt.
How would that even happen?
Just like filthy. Bugs and dirt. That's my life.
How have you been? Honestly, I've been really good. Like, really good. I know that I've been really absent from YouTube especially and just social media in general, but it's kind of funny how that works. For me personally, when I go missing from social media, it usually means that I am just like really loving life and really enjoying my time. I've been meeting so many awesome people. Work has been really good. I've been spending time with friends. I've been spending so much time outside. I've completely fallen in love with living on the road again. Not to say that I wouldn't get off the road. Like I'm at that stage where I would be happy getting off or staying on, but I'm no longer feeling like I have to find a house. I have to find a place to live. I'm just like enjoying life. Are the constant Converse shoes just a habit from Triple A's? Okay, so this is from Emily. She also used to work at Abercrombie and we always had to wear Converse Chucks at Abercrombie, but that's not actually why I wear them. I wear them because my grandfather found a pair of green high-top Converse Chucks at a rummage sale for 50 cents. And he just thought it was like the steal of the century. I just love them because having them reminds me of my grandfather. Not a question, but a thank you for being an inspiration. Thank you. Oh my gosh. It's always so shocking when people say that, or even like when I'm out traveling and some of you come up and say hello. It's funny, I forget that everything that I put online is public. I've shared before that I'm an introvert. People say, how could you be an introvert when you're putting your life online? But the truth is, I am here alone. I've been parked here alone for like 4 days. The only people I've seen are cars that drive by. I feel like it's just me in my own little universe. I don't feel like anyone is ever gonna watch this video, but I am just so grateful to all of you guys with the kind words and the encouragement. How do you keep such a level head despite all the troubles life on the road can throw at you? There are times when I really struggle, and I don't have a level head and I'm just like, what the am I gonna do now? Like, really? But at the same time, I think that my life, for better or worse, equipped me in a very unique way to handle the challenges of life on the road. I had kind of a chaotic upbringing, moving around all the time. And my mom was really young when she was 16 when she got pregnant with me. I worked for this company that was just kind of chaotic. And now this life that I'm living is almost just calm in comparison to the chaos I feel like I used to have in my life. So that's probably not a good thing. I know it's not a good thing. Being on the road has actually allowed me the time and space to take a step back and understand that about myself. I think once I started to just relax and lean into the idea of slowing down and spending more time in places, like up to 2 weeks is my preference, I've just allowed myself to kind of sink into a calmer existence. And that has really changed a lot of things for me. I'm not constantly driving around. I'm only saying yes to things I actually want to do and being super intentional about that. So when things do go sideways or not to plan, I just do my best to look at those situations as opportunities to learn or change, and ultimately just see it all as part of the adventure. What do you want to be remembered by when you leave this life? That's a really interesting question. Legacy. I don't know. I don't think it matters to me. Maybe that's a terrible answer, but I don't really care if anyone thinks of me after I'm gone. In the time that I'm here, I just want to appreciate and celebrate nature and love and others and just all the beauty in this world. I think that we get enough of the not so beautiful things thrown in our face on a very regular basis. This is very relevant to what I'm experiencing right now. If your R5, your Canon R5 camera died, would you replace with an R5 or a different body? Unfortunately, I was just in Yosemite and I dropped my camera body with my lens and it still worked, but it's actually making this weird whining sound even as it's recording right now. And the camera like shifts, the autofocus is off. Hopefully this is in focus right now. I have no idea. Basically, it's about to die. If I were starting out again, I would strongly consider Sony just because it's small, it's lightweight, top of the line glass, like it's a very solid brand. However, I am so deep in the hole with Canon. I just have like, I don't even know, close to $20,000 worth of gear and lenses and accessories and everything. So at this point, I'm just gonna get the R5 Mark II. It's just the camera. Honestly, I barely know how to use mine. What I really focus on is composition, lighting, color, the environment, and storytelling. The technical details of my camera are, for the most part, over my head. I just know the basics. So yeah, I would stick with the R5. I'm a part-time van life dad of 3 college-age girls. What safety advice do they need? Well, you're a dad, so you probably know a lot more than I do. But I guess just as a solo female traveler, I did a whole video on this, and I think the most important thing that I can reiterate is to trust your gut and to minimize risk. So by that, I just mean don't put yourself in compromising situations if you can help it, but also at the same time, don't let fear govern your decisions. Situational awareness is going to be a really vital tool out on the road in terms of just keeping an eye on your surroundings, kind of monitor what's going on, recognize a threat before it becomes inescapable, that sort of thing. I think I've personally built up a lot of tolerance over the years. For example, one of my more recent videos about a van circling around my van garnered a lot of pushback from people that I was being super unsafe and I should have left sooner. When the truth is, I've been in far more dangerous situations than that. I mean, that wouldn't even make it onto the list of top 10. I personally did not feel that I was in danger. I have the means to protect myself, but that's going to be different for everyone. You know, you have to find your level of comfort, and it's really important that you prepare, you think in advance about what sort of situations you might find yourself in and how to protect yourself if and when that does happen. When will you open your heart and let a really great guy become your soulmate? I think relationships are probably the most important thing in this life. Relationship with yourself, relationship with others. And I think if you're lucky, then a soulmate. And I've definitely put effort into exploring that. And I absolutely do want that someday. I think that for the last 2 years, if I'm really being honest, I just really wanted to do my own thing because I had a history of getting to a point where I was super happy being alone, and I should have continued on that trajectory in multiple points throughout my life. But instead, I entered into a relationship before I was really ready. And this time, after my last relationship, which ended over 2 years ago now, I was just very adamant about I don't want to date, I don't want to see anyone, I just only wanted friends, and I just wanted to focus on myself. So I will say that I don't feel that way anymore. Like, I'm 100% open to a relationship, but only if it's going to add to my life. because I have a pretty good life. I love my life. So it would take someone pretty special for me to consider changing it, to be honest. But I do want that. To reiterate, I do want a partner. I want the right partner, not just a partner, if that makes sense. Not being rude at all, but sometimes you feel old for starting late at photo and video. I ask because I feel that a lot sometimes. I'm 33. This is a great topic. I had a whole different corporate life before I started photo and video, and I did not go to school for filmmaking or photography. Everything I've learned has been, either self-taught, or a lot of it has just been by learning from other photographers and videographers that I really look up to. When it comes to age, it's like, what are you trying to accomplish? If your aim is to build a career and have a certain set retirement age, and you just want a job that will get you from point A to point B, then I can understand you concerning yourself with age. But if it's something that you're passionate about and you're excited to do, like for me, that's what photography and videography is, then who gives a fuck? Like, age is irrelevant. I intend to live as much and as richly as I can possibly live until my last breath. Do you worry about having enough funds to retire? I have not paid rent in over 6 years, and I also didn't have health insurance for over 6 years. So that gives you kind of an idea of how much money I've saved. But I also, work for a living, and I earn twice as much as I used to working for corporate America. I have very low overhead expense-wise, so it's just been accumulating, and I've just been shoving it into 401k and IRA and the stock market.
But as someone who is self-employed and who also enjoys taking large chunks of time away from work, I know that my income is going to fluctuate from year to year. So I've been really intentional about saving and investing, and am very much on track retirement-wise. But ask me again when I decide to buy or build a house, because I'm sure that will make things a little more spicy. Mostly because I kind of have expensive taste. Okay, here's a question that I've probably been asked in one form or another about 10,000 times. Does it ever get lonely on the road? And the answer is yeah, absolutely, it definitely does. But it can also be lonely in a house or an apartment or anywhere, or for anyone, I think. Some of my loneliest moments have been times when I was actually surrounded by people, but failing to connect with any one of them in a real or meaningful way.
That to me feels so much more hollow than just being alone, because I actually really love my own company. I love being alone. I really enjoy and cherish solitude, but there is a limit to that. Companionship and connection is also incredibly important. I think some people thrive in certain environments, and it's just important for you to figure out what works best for you. Advice you would give someone trying to develop a video style. Advice for YouTube. If you saw my last video, it was literally titled Bad YouTuber, because I don't know, like I'm 100% just trying to figure out YouTube as I go. YouTube for me was meant to be a less curated, less polished version of my Instagram.
This is probably the most unflattering angle ever.
Over time with Instagram, it just became this like self-imposed expectation that I had to post something that was of value or quality. And as a result, I just stopped posting as often. And with YouTube, I just wanted it to be this raw, behind the scenes peek into what it's like to live on the road, because Instagram photos don't really paint that picture. A lot of the times, especially with the work I create, I want to highlight the beauty of the outdoors. I really don't care about showing what it's like to live in a van on Instagram. But with YouTube, it gave me an opportunity to do that. So I guess what I'm getting at is find something that you're really passionate about, because at least in my experience, it's a lot of work. Editing, planning, filming, the finding of the music, that there's just so many elements that go into making a video. You can keep it going for a few months, 6 months, a year, but eventually, if you don't have a really strong reason for wanting to make videos, you're probably gonna burn out. I honestly think, and this is gonna be super unpopular, a lot of people will probably disagree, I think that having a strategy with YouTube is one of the worst things that you can do. Unless you're like, I don't know, a finance channel, or you have a very clear niche and vision and objective. But if you're just trying to document your life and have a creative spin and aspect on things, I find it's really helpful to not place those limitations on myself, to just let myself evolve and film whatever I feel like filming, because that keeps me excited to create. Just start. Try not to put any expectations on yourself. Know that your videos are going to suck. I can't even go back and watch mine. Like, even the most recent one, I cannot watch my YouTube videos because they make me cringe so hard. You just create it, share it, and move on and have fun with it. I think that's the most important thing.
There is one other thing that I will suggest, and that is to invest in high quality music. The biggest challenge I faced when starting my own YouTube channel was music, how to find it, and how I could monetize while using it in my videos without fear of copyright. This was especially important since the subject of my work is often my environment and the natural landscapes I'm traveling through. And it isn't always possible to capture those scenes without unwanted audio.
Okay, yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Overlaying a song is an effective way to patch over those moments while still progressing the storyline. But without having the right song, you risk distracting your viewer from the overall mood or message you're trying to convey. This is why MusicBed is the brand I trust most when it comes to finding music for my videos. With a collection of over 60,000 songs from real artists, AI search tools, and curated playlists, I always find the perfect song for any project. If you've been on the fence about trying MusicBed, they're currently offering, for a limited time, a free 14-day trial if you sign up using the link in my description below, so you can try it out and make the switch. I am newish to van life. What is the best way to make community on the road? In my experience, a lot of my community has just come through social media. Pretty much if you're in any national park or state park or just beautiful place in general, you're going to know someone there if you're in the photography community.
Are you seeing this?
I think that's a good place to start, is social media. But there's pros and cons to that. I, at a certain point, really wanted to start building community outside of social media. And it's a little bit trickier, I will say, because you're not staying in one place for any real amount of time, and it takes time to get to know people and build real community. So that's one of, if not the primary reasons why I want to get off the road, is just because I crave community. I crave deep connection, intimacy, and just having a support system and a community that I can reciprocate to and give my time and energy to. It is something that a lot of us road lifers tend to struggle with. So it's really great that you would ask yourself that question. Hi from Park City. Hi. What is your favorite song to play on the guitar? Guys, I only know 2 songs, but not even the full songs. I honestly can only play half of 2 songs, but they're both Ben Howard, of course.
Are you going to come see Ben Howard play a set at Talta when we throw a party later this year? Yes, I would love to do that. Favorite pizza topping? Jalapenos. I like to keep it spicy. Have you ever thought about having your own pet on the road with you? I mean, a dog rather than a mouse. I have had some mouse issues in the van over the past year. If you've been around for a little bit, you know. But as far as having a pet like a dog or a cat, I would not have one on the road. I've met up with enough people who do have pets in their rigs to know that that's just not for me. Like, I like my workspace / living space / kitchen / bathroom / all those things. It's only 55 square feet. And I want it to be clean. I do love pets though, which is why I do a lot of pet sitting in combination with living on the road full time. That way I kind of get the best of both worlds. I get to spend a lot of time with both dogs, cats, birds, all kinds of different animals. And then I get to go off in my van and have adventures in places where it's kind of tricky to take a pet. Like my last video where I was in Yosemite doing backcountry camping, I can't take my dog to go do an adventure like that. In most national parks, they're only allowed on paved trails. If I want to just go overseas for a concert or something, I would have to find someone to look after my pet. And since I don't have a traditional home, that might be kind of tricky. So it's like, hey, can I drop my pet off at your house or at this kennel, or can you come live in my van? And honestly, like, road life is already challenging enough in a lot of respects. I think that would just complicate it to the point where I would quit. There is a good chance that down the road I will get a dog. I've had 3 or 4 dogs in my lifetime though. And I will say, I love the house sitting so much that there's also a good chance I won't get my own dog, because it's actually really fulfilling to look after other people's pets all over the world and to just get to know so many different personalities and form connections with all of these pets that would be really hard to do if I have my own pet that I would have to find a sitter for in order to go look after someone else's. So what's one of your hot takes? Lav mics are overrated. It's so much easier to just hold a microphone, but I'm making an effort. But honestly, like my hair keeps hitting it, or I won't notice that it's like rubbing up against my shirt. There's wires running down through my shirt. I'm not a fan. Another hot take, I don't really like restaurants. I don't really like eating out. In my corporate life and in a past relationship, I spent so much time going out to restaurants that the novelty is just completely gone for me. I also have a hard time really connecting with people in a restaurant because I'm so easily distracted by all the ambient noise. And if there's a conversation going on kind of close to me or there's loud music playing, I can't really hear the person in front of me and genuinely give them the attention I want to give them. And so, yeah. Plus they're expensive. How tall are you? I am 5'9". What is one thing that you'd give up living on the road for? Love. Have you found some land in the PNW to build a place? I've kind of put that idea on the back burner for now. If the right piece of land did become available, I would definitely consider it. But just the more that I learned, the more home ownership became unappealing to me. Just the whole idea of having to maintain a property with as much as I like to travel. And I do, come November, I'll probably want another place again. But it almost makes more sense for me right now to just get an Airbnb for 3 to 6 months if I really want that, until I find a place that I'm super, super into. I really love Washington. I also really love California and Oregon. And I'm going to be spending some time in Colorado. And I only lived there very briefly before I moved over to Italy, and I loved Colorado. So I don't think my search is over yet. Have you ever considered traveling internationally with your van? Absolutely. In fact, I was genuinely researching how to ship my van over to Europe about a year ago. And the hurdle I ran into was that I couldn't find an option where you can keep your stuff in your van. As far as insurance purposes go, everything that I read said that the companies won't allow you, like the van has to ship over empty. And for me, that's kind of like, what's the point? Because I could just go over to Europe and rent a van and not have to pay the $2,500 shipping each way. It was like a 4 to 6 week wait once your van is put on a ship. I would still love to do it, but I would probably do it in a different way, like renting one or swapping with someone who lives in Europe and they could take my van, and that would be really fun. If you could take your van around 3 other countries, which would they be? Number 1, for sure, is Norway. Number 2, probably, I would say Iceland, but this isn't 4-wheel drive, so there's not a lot that I could do. Maybe Chile and Italy, for sure. How old were you when you began life on the road? I was 33 years old, and I just turned 39. Ooh, here we go. Fai qualsiasi cosa a trovare la pratica di italiano mentre vivesti le van life o ti sei arreso? Allora, non ho parlato l'italiano da tanto tempo, 10 anni, quindi è andato via. Ma voglio tornare in Italia così posso ricordare come parlare l'italiano. Ci vediamo.
Game on the head, it's all big man, flashback. Got mad, then he didn't crack that. I don't know when a new map. Where's what on him when he crashed that? Came back, man, I don't act like tough, yeah, all of that one pack. Beat anywhere, feeling alright. Game on the head, it's all mad, like flashback. Got mad, then he didn't crack that. I don't know when a new map. Where's what on him when he crashed that? Came back, man, I don't act like tough, yeah, all of that one pack. Beat anywhere, feeling alright. Game on the head, it's all mad,